All right, good afternoon, Coldwell Banker George Realty. Today we have a lunch and learn hosted by Nancy Chan with Lawyers Title. And she's gonna go over probate and trust. Without further ado, Nancy, take it
Hi,
over.
Peter.
Hello, Nancy. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for bringing the pizza. Okay, I provide the knowledge, you provide the food. Everybody thank Peter, and Ruben had to go pick them up, so thank you,
I
Ruben.
know. Thanks to Ruben. I didn't do anything.
Coming here, I hope you learned something. And the first disclaimer, I'm not an attorney, and everything I say is from the title company's point of view. Okay, so if you have any legal questions, Peter's the attorney, there are other attorneys that you should talk to, but I'm just gonna tell you how we look at trust and probate. Okay, so number one, Nancy Chan, I've been in business for 40 years. This is my 41st year. And people ask me, how come you stay so long? I still love my job. And I was telling my friend, if I don't see Lily, if I retire and I say, what's she doing? What's Michelle doing? I still want to come and see you guys. So I might as well stay in the business and provide you with whatever I can provide. I have a lot of knowledge, not because I'm smarter than everybody else, it's because I've run into all the awful things that happen in your industry, in my industry. So things are very important. Right now, especially in the title business, in the real estate business, you know what is the most horrible thing. I have one that happened Friday. It's not my title order, but fraud. People are bad now. Not everybody's bad. We have good people in the industry, but even amongst realtors, there are bad people. I'll give you some examples of what's going on. So title company, it makes our job, an escrow job, and also professional realtors job more important because we have to protect the consumer. We have to protect our seller, our buyer, and most of all, of the real estate industry for the sale and purchase of the property. Why? Real estate is one of the largest and most important industry in the whole economy. Example, women. Somebody buys a house, the wife goes out white. I want new carpet. I don't like the drapes. I want new furniture. I want to do this and that. That really gets the economy going. Paint the house, do this and that. So real estate is not just selling a house, buying a house. We're providing a lot of incentive in the economy for people to make money. And the economy, you know, money goes around. So I think if there's more fraud and we don't do our job together as an industry, you know, it'll be very detrimental. People they don't trust the system anymore. So we have the obligation to protect the system. And when title company asks you for certain documents, without our database, all the records that we can pull, that integrity of the database, if that's corrupted, we can't do business. That's most important. Kathy, you've run into this before. You get a listing and then Nancy, that loan is 1980. They paid it off a long time ago. There was a refi. You know it's paid off. I know it's paid off. You know it's paid off. But on the record, there's no reconveyance showing it's paid off. That's the integrity of the database that's corrupted. How are you going to sell that property? Right? So we have to correct those mistakes. So we have to go chase after the lender from 1980 to make sure they're going to give us a reconveyance, a report, and clean up the system. The database is really important. So I'm going to preach on our behalf, your behalf, escrow, and the consumer. This is really important. Okay, let's go back to how we look at trust, and I'll talk about probate later. One other thing I think that I don't do marketing, but I can give you a hint. I see probates, I see estate administrators sell more and more often. Why? People that bought in the 80s or earlier, 70s, if they own the property for longer than 30, 40 years, that seller is either old or sick or something. I'm telling you, that's an advantage for you to farm those people. So I don't know how old they are, right? Do you know how old they are? I don't, but I can look at the property on the transfer day. This is what you do farming. If they bought for 35, 40 years, target that group, because they need your help. They need good realtors, like George Realty, Coldwell Banker George Realty. They're willing to help the elderly. You're willing to solve their problem. It takes a little more time, but they do need the help, and you're gonna get the list. And you're gonna make friends with all their kids. Does that make sense? Okay. I don't have any PowerPoint because I don't want you to look at the PowerPoint, because I want you to look at me. Because if you look at the PowerPoint, you won't hear what I say. You know, people are, you can't do 2 or 3 things at the same time. Okay, so a lot of them has trust. Let me tell you the title company's requirement of looking at a trust. Peter, you and I remember, and Michelle, some of the people that have been in business longer. Prior to I can't remember the date, 2000, the county will let Kathy grant it to Kathy's trust, da, 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 da. They won't let you do that anymore. They want you to say Kathy grants into Kathy, the trustee of the da, 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 da trust data. They want the name of the trustee on the document now. Before it's just the trust name. Why? We want to know, this is county, they don't want fraud. They want Nancy Chan as trustee of the Nancy Chan Trust. Some of the trusts might have more than one last name, one family. So they want to make sure who is the actual signer. So the county used to say, you can just grant into ABC Trust. No, they want to say, Rosa grants to Rosa Reyes, trustee of the ABC Trust or whatever. Used to, they don't want the trustee's name. Now they want the trustee's name. A good attorney or somebody will know that, but a lot of people don't know that. So when we look at a trust, at least we can say Rosa Reyes is the trustee, right? Okay, so on the grantee, you see that. Number 1, who's going to sign the listing? Not Nancy Chan, not Kathy. Rosa, she's the trustee of that trust. Okay, that's number 1. So you have the right person to sign. Okay, but trust is like a separate entity. It doesn't belong to you anymore, even though you can sign. It belongs to this trust that you set up. The trust has to give authorization for you to sign. So we will, as a title company, let's say this is happening a lot. When I get a title order, if the listing agent didn't tell me ahead of time or didn't pull a property profile that we look at, I always make a point to, if you order through me, our customer service is something that we do this for a long time now. We want the title rep. We have like 40 reps. We want the reps to be involved in your business. So if you order it and you say, if you order it yourself through customer service, you say Nancy Chan is my rep, they'll send me a copy. They will send me a copy. This way I can look at it. I want to look at the problem. It's not customer service to find a problem for you. They are just giving you what's on the database. It is our job as sales, because we work with you, each one of you, to look at it and tell you what needs to be done. We have to be proactive. So if I see a trust, and Rosa is the one that calls me and says, I want a property profile, I'm going to say, Rosa, is this a listing? Sometimes you'll say, no, I'm just buying this property. I'm representing you my buyer. It's also a good idea, because you want to make sure that whoever signs the contract is the person that's on the trust. What if it's Rosa Reyes, it was Fernando that signs it? You know there's a problem, right? So you're gonna call the listing agent and say, who actually can sign? Because on my property profile is Rosa Reyes. But maybe she passed away or she's incapacitated, then the listing agent has to provide you something. So at least you can tell your buyer, we're okay. We can proceed with the loan and put all the money in because they're expensive. So when you look at a trust, I don't care if it's Nancy Chan trustee of the trust. First thing you're gonna ask the seller, Nancy Chan, where's your trust? One of the biggest problems, I said that in the Western Gabriel Association Global seminar, a lot of people, they lost their trust. They're 90 years old, they forgot where they put it. Or you were talking to the son because Nancy Chan already passed away. They didn't record a death certificate or anything. So you don't know. As a listing agent, you should know. Hey, how come it's Nancy Chan and then you're calling me? Is this your mother? Where is she? Do you have the trust? One of the most frequently issues that we have is that they can't find the trust. I got lucky 10 years ago. The kids flew in from Arkansas. the mom has a unit, some units here in Arcadia. He said, you don't have the trust. They're really good people. The husband works for the state over there. They couldn't find it, they couldn't find it. On the trust, on the deed, I found out it was attorney. And it was done in 1970. So I found the attorney. He called me back. He's still alive. And he was a nice gentleman. And I think a lot of the trust attorneys don't do that. And this is just a word for your own trust, you have to kill.
So we have a copy.
He has a signed copy. If it's not signed, it's not valid, right? If my trust, I have to sign it to make it valid. I give you a check, $1 million, I didn't sign it, do you think you're gonna cash a check for you? Same thing. That attorney is so nice. He says, let me look. 2 days later, he said, I have everything in storage. I found it. I have a signed copy. He met the seller. He borrowed somebody's conference room in a law firm. We got lucky. But that's one of the very rare cases. So make sure if you have clients, they're older, they want to do a trust now. This is what you tell them. I don't need an original. Make an extra copy with the signature and put it somewhere safe. I have one family's trust in my possession, well, two people. The kids are not in this state. So the parents gave me the trust. They make a copy for me. Okay,
So is that how you treat where if the property has trust?
no, the grantee does.
So, because, yeah, I had a similar situation, my friend's dad passed away. They thought he has a trust, but he does not know where the trust, because the dad just passed away without telling where the copy is.
Okay,
So you trace back to the
I look at
grantee.
the grantee. Sometimes if it's done by an attorney, I'll look for that attorney.
What if it's not done by attorney, so it doesn't show that?
Well, when you have a trust, it's not done by attorney, it's kind of dangerous. Because the heir might be fighting. You help dad do it. How do I know it's real? Dad, you coerce dad to it. Two, three brothers and sisters fighting it. Always good to go through an attorney. I know how to do a trust, but I'm not gonna do it for you.
Is there other way to locate where the trust is if it's not by attorney?
No,
Is it reported somewhere?
no.
No.
Trust is not here recorded. Let me tell you why. It's very simple. I have a trust. My life insurance in the trust. My 401k is in the trust. My Morgan Stanley account is in the trust. What if I have a Picasso painting in my living room? If it's recorded, everybody would know that I have that. I have my guns in the trust. So they're gonna come and rob me if it's recorded. People can just pull that and say, oh, Nancy Chan has a Picasso and she has this jewelry, she has this and that. Trust is not just the property. All your possessions can be part of the trust. So people can, after you die, they can disperse your assets to your heirs. I have one that the guy has an old Mustang, 1950 some Mustang. Hatchback, right? It's a classic. This caused a problem. He wrote in the trust, it goes to his daughter. The son was pissed. Okay, but he can't argue. It's sitting in the garage, fully done, beautiful, on the place. So you don't want people to know you have a Mustang. Then go in the garage and take it. Get a tow truck and tow it. Right, so the trust has a lot of personal information, and a lot of trust, we have a lot of second marriages, third marriages now, the trust is important.
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll tie into probate, okay? So I cannot find the trust unless there's an attorney that I can call, but most attorneys, they do not keep the signed copy. If it's not signed, it's not valid. Your contract, if it's not signed, it's not valid. So that's it. Yes, Jeff.
No, you follow, you discover that there's a trust, right? But no, but the lawyer doesn't have it, or the lawyer is dead, the family doesn't have any copy. What's the last recourse then?
You go to an attorney, they file a really simple probate and nobody contests to it, then we're okay. But that's why I said put the trust and probate together, is because it kind of tie into each other.
When you say copy, does it have to be hard copy? Or digital copies, right?
digital copies. And I don't need the whole trust, okay? Sometimes the trust is really thick and it has all the other cars and Morgan Stanley, all that. I don't need that, okay? You can write this down, just 4 or 5 pages I need. I need the cover page, Nancy Chan's trust dated, It's in big print, the first page, I need that. Then the second page I need is who is the trustee and the successor trustee. What if I die? Somebody has to sign on behalf of me, right? So what my son or daughter will do is say, here's my mom's death certificate. She is the original trustee, also the term settlor, right? Peter, no, I'm the settlor, I'm the one that created this, and I'm also in charge of this, so it's my trust. So if I die, I would say I've seen one that have 4 successor trustee, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. So there's 5 people in the trust, the original trustee and 4 kids. Okay, so it will say successor could be my 2 kids together, or my son first, or my daughter first, and my son next. Okay, so in the trust, that page is really important. Then the page that shows this property is in the trust. So the trust needs to be reviewed and also changed. Peter buys another new property, you better do an addendum to put that property into the trust again. Otherwise, even if you do a deed, when the title company looks at it or your lender say it's not in the trust, you didn't say it in the trust. Then the third page is that page. This property is in the trust. The last page I want, the signature. Okay, I've seen that people say, I don't want to give you the trust, it's too many. Or the people who live in Fontana, I just closed, I'm closing one tomorrow. Yeah. The person lives in Fontana, what is she gonna bring this? So I told the agent, as soon as he got the listing, take pictures of these pages. You need to have it, S will need it, I also need it. So we didn't have to go back twice.
Actually, you only need a memorandum of the trust. The memorandum of trust is only a few pages long, and it doesn't contain all the detail of who's the beneficiary and then what kind of a property they're giving.
Yeah, but sometimes they don't, the trust doesn't have a memorandum. I've
Yeah,
seen
yeah,
it.
well, if they do.
If it's
most of-
good
most of the
attorney.
time-
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the time, when they do it now, they have the memorandum of the declaration of trust.
So don't go online, and try to do one yourself, okay? I can do it, but I don't know the complexity of the person's estate and their financial thing, so I rather trust an attorney. There's a lot of good trust attorneys out there. I know like 3 or 4, you guys need it. And also, let me add, foreigners can do a trust. There is a misnomer that foreigner cannot do a trust. As long as the property's here, they have the proper ID, they can do a trust. The tax base might be different, but
Yeah, it's more complicated.
yeah, it is more complicated. You have to pay more, okay? Attorney's not gonna do work for you and charge you a small amount of money, but foreigners can do a trust.
So where you get the memorandum?
It's in the trust.
It's in the trust. When you first do the trust, the attorney will do that for you. It's part of the package.
And I have attorneys who are pretty bad. They did the trust and charge them, they didn't do the grantee and transfer the property into the trust. Okay, oh. Don't, I've seen all of them. The time.
Yes.
It is not, it's not like that. This is what I tell you, every industry now. The standards is bad. Okay, so I'm not gonna go to a bodily injury law attorney to do my trust, crazy? Okay, just go to the professional ones. So, like Peter said, documents right, then we get it. So when you get the listing, please ask them. And I have people that tells me, agents say, Nancy, they can't find it. Why are you so difficult? Can't you just close it? She's old, she's not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know you're not gonna lie to me. But they can't do it. But as soon as I said, you have to find it, somehow they found it.
You have a sample of
No.
the good trust?
Yeah, I can send something to Ruben and Ruben can, I'll white out some stuff, yeah.
So when we get the listing, I can take just a picture, right?
One time, I think it's this, your agent, there was a property in, near New and, Emerson. It was an empty house, the old lady already in the rest home. The agent brought the trust and I met him in the, house. I used my phone or iPad and took pictures of it, and I sent it over to my office, so we'll print it out and put it in our file. Okay, so get the trust first before you get delayed. Now, good listing, we get a 10-day escrow, all cash and stuff, and you can't find the trust. I have one agent said, can't see it. I said, why didn't you get the trust? Well, now the son is back in Arkansas. And he took it with him. It's okay, now he take pictures. 20 years ago, there was no phone, why didn't they take pictures, right? So they have to go and make copies and mail it back, UPS send it back. So ask for the proper document ahead of time. And then if your client, this is the seller, they will say to you, well, the other agents say they don't need anything. Well, what are you gonna say? I'm responsible. I just want you, I'm here to help you. I don't want this thing to happen at the end. A lot of people, they don't tell you ahead of time. And I'm here, I'm honestly is here working for you. So, and it's not just from me, it's from the escrow and title. Throw us under the bus.
Question.
Mhm.
If one of the member, close member of family is not listed in the trust. And
As a beneficiary,
as a beneficiary,
okay,
she's out,
she's out.
but the other trustees would like to sell.
They can sell.
Can this other one stop this be a risk?
Well, unless they get an attorney and sue. Once there's a court action, then everything stops, but usually they'll get thrown out of court. It's just time and money. Okay, I have one transaction that have 4 trustees. And on the beginning of the page of the who has the sign, they say only one person has the sign. But there were like 3 sisters and the mother passed away. The 3 sisters say they all want the sign. So in the back, they say they can decide who they want to sign. So they want to be fair. They don't want to get into a lawsuit. So the sisters, they all sign. So it's in escrow right now.
The beneficiary have a right to know the content of the trust.
The beneficiary can, but if you're not the beneficiary, you can't. They don't have to give it to you.
They don't, they have the right not to give you.
Yeah, unless they go to court. Because you're not in the trust, so why are you gonna look at it?
But,
But if you're the
the children are
beneficiary,
in the
yeah, if the children in the trust, they can
They
ask
have
the
the
trustee,
right to-
they have the right, yeah.
but they won't give to you.
Most of the time, the trustees are pretty good. I have one that, there were 3 grandkids. It was the aunt, the oldest daughter that was in charge, and she was really good. She called everybody together and sit down and said, this is what you're gonna get, this is what you're gonna get. This account has so much money, and so it's done well. But another thing, once it's in the trust, we can't disperse the money to individual. It has to go to a bank account, the trust. So you better go set up a account. The trustee go to the bank, set up an account under the trust. I'm in charge of my brother that passed away 18 years ago. I'm in charge of his trust. I have a bank account under his name. It's been 18 years. There was a little money in there, and every year it's at East West Bank. So if he doesn't have any property anymore, but if he did, it would go into the check would go into the trust. Okay, for tax purpose and everything.
Yeah, if they're both the grandfathers are still alive, and you don't have to have a separate ID for them.
Yeah.
The trust, you can just use your own social security number, but as soon as the spouse, one of the spouse died, then it's better to have a separate ID for the trust, so that you can, kind of monitor all the assets.
You guys are so lucky Peter's here, because the other office, they don't have somebody right there to answer the questions. It really helps.
Separate, this is
Separate ID.
ID.
Because trust ID, yeah.
That's like.
Trust ID, that's.
So if you have a trust that
You
somebody,
get from IRS.
you need to set up an account, bank account,
It's
so you know where to send the money to. Because it doesn't belong to the individual, it belongs to the trust.
the P,
Then the trust can disperse it.
not the PIN, it's a different thing.
CNPIN.
It's a PIN.
Yeah,
It's a
it's,
PIN.
Make sense? Any questions so far? Did I miss anything that you're allowed to ask?
Well, when you did a trust and then you lost it, can you do another trust?
Yeah, then you gotta quick claim it out of that, you can do another trust, because you're still alive, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah,
But what happened to the previous, the first?
It's void, because that's why they have the date.
Oh,
okay,
you can
what
do,
you can do, that is that you do the restatement of the trust, and then you don't have to change the name of the original trust. And also you don't have to rearrange the assets to your new trust.
Yeah.
Because when you have the same trust, but then you just reinstate, that means you correct everything, from anew,
So my
We look
suggestion,
at the entirety and then the restatement of the trust will be the new trust that you have. That's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah.
Including changing an executor?
Yeah, everything.
So they
So you
can
can brand new,
reinstate
yeah,
and then
brand,
put a different executor in.
yes,
Yeah.
everything.
Thinking of that,
Anytime.
you had to redraw the whole thing. to
no,
an
no, you can
executor.
amend it anytime.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, my
You
clients,
Modify and then.
That's if you're alive.
Yeah,
If you're
if you're alive.
Once you drop dead, well, we go probate.
All right.
If you drop dead,
Peter,
you go probate, that's it, make it simple. You're
Peter,
alive, you can do anything you want, but once you're dead,
Is there a question online?
no, I have a question.
Okay.
Peter, to reinstate, do you need attorney services or you can do it yourself?
No, you need an attorney. Always.
restate what?
Restatement, not reinstate, restatement.
Restatement this trust.
And that should be done by the trust,
Restatement.
lawyer. How much is the charge of that?
It depends on the attorney,
Yeah.
It depends how much
We go
assets
down.
you have.
Most trust attorneys are pretty reasonable.
Right, but if you could, Peter will do it for you for free.
No.
Just loves that.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Hey, what?
Then you'll lower your commission.
Just maybe.
Okay, any more questions? So we do want it. The reason I'm here is I want to tell you, once you grant it into like a separate entity, it's a different ownership now. Those papers are required by title. And if you don't have it, then we gotta figure out somewhere. So you remember Delta Real Estate a long time ago in Garfield, maybe you know what. Joseph Tong's trust, I still have it. Well, his wife passed away, so he traveled, he's a missionary, he travels all over Southeast Asia, so he doesn't know where anything, so the wife gave me the trust before she passed away. So anytime Joseph needs a trust, I have it. He comes back once a year and he says, Nancy, do you still have my trust? Number one, phone call. I said, Peter, what if I die? You should give it to somebody else. Jesus. It's not Peter, Joseph. There's like, he lives right here on Margarita. He built those condos, he lives in one, he rented all those out, so he's got like 6 or 7 different condos in that complex, but it's still plenty. So do have somebody else have a copy of your trust,
Yeah.
because when you get old, you forget. I forget things once in a while.
Can you make copy of the trust?
You can make copies of the trust, yes,
It's illegal.
it's legal.
But the only thing you gotta make sure that the person you give it to, that you can trust you.
Of course,
If not, they in trouble,
Yeah.
big trouble.
yeah. So I guess I'm trusted, huh? Don't give it to me, I don't want it. I don't want everybody's trust. I already got 2 and I'm like,
You have enough.
I have enough. I'm not the trustee, but I'm part, they say you need documents, it's in the trust. So have a copy somewhere else, because as an agent, I see a lot of it listed, they just say, yes, they lost it, they don't have it. One time, the old lady's son was really good, went to the garage and found them in a box. They put it in a box, they forgot about it. So what I do is I have a drawer, all my important papers are in there. And my son, my daughter knows exactly where they're at. Okay, but I should make one copy for my brother, and I didn't do that. Okay, I'm really inviting myself. So it's important to have it, and sometimes people put it in safety deposit box. And my mom has a safety deposit box, but my name and my sister's name is also on there, so I can go in anytime. So if you're getting old, don't put your name on the safety deposit box, because your kids can get access to it. The bank won't let your daughter in. I don't care what she says. They won't let her in. Okay, so if you put in a safety deposit box, make sure that she's on the name on the safety deposit box.
If not, the bank will, get that.
Or you do that before they die.
They want it.
Yeah, they won't let you in. I know. I've had people say, Nancy, do you know anybody at Cathay Bank? They won't let me in. I can't. They won't listen to me.
Die.
Yeah. So
Do it before they die.
for your clients, for you, the more knowledge you have, the more you can help them, because you help them buy a house, they're elderly, tell them these things ahead of time. The worst thing is that they don't have anything, they don't know what to do. And the three sisters that's on as trustee now, trustee can resign.
Oh,
So I had a client that put me as a trustee, I resigned last year, because the kids are older, I don't need it. So I sent a letter in, and then I resigned as trustee. So if you go into escrow, the first trustee is the oldest daughter, and this one, she was in, New Jersey. She doesn't want to be signing anything. So she resigned as a trustee. So the successor, the next one, the other sister that's in California can take over. That one doesn't need to be notarized. Okay, just a formal letter saying I, so-and-so, trustee, successor trustee of this trust, that date is so and so, I resign as trustee. So the second one comes in, so the second sister now is signing it.
So the letter doesn't have to go through the attorney?
No,
Okay.
escrow is fine. Okay, then they do a trust cert. The number one thing in the trust cert, what is a trust certification? The trustee or the successor has to sign, there's no changes in the trust. Because like Peter said, you can amend it, you can do all this stuff. Then we get sued because one of the errors is, well, they changed it and you didn't even tell me. And I should have gotten $500,000, I'm gonna sue everybody. That includes me, escrow, you, and broker. Both, it's not funny. So we will want a trust cert. That trust cert is in, escrow will send it to you, title company's requirement, the trustee, whoever signs saying there's no changes in the trust. Trust cert is the last thing we need. If the trustee died, how do I know she died? You know she dies, everybody else, I don't know. So what do? She can't sign it anymore, right? So I need a death certificate. Okay, so prove that Nancy Chan died. So my daughter, Melanie Chan, now is the successor, right? So the death certificate gets sent to escrow. Escrow prepare affidavit death of the trustee. Then the successor can sign. We have to take that person out. Okay, then the successor can take over. Does that make sense? It gets a little complicated, but anytime, I don't expect you to remember everything, but ask Ruben, ask Peter, ask me, I'm always here to help you. Okay, so trust is something I want, if you have people that have trust, yes, Jeffrey.
Let's say there's multiple beneficiary, four sisters or four sisters and brothers, different states. You guys have to call them, each and every one that.
No, we don't.
This is the for sale.
Title company do not disperse the beneficiary, we disperse to the trustee. They do the disbursement. We don't do that. Escrow doesn't do that.
Yeah, the trustee, the mother died.
Okay,
But
question.
you're-
The trustee died, there's a successor, it's
Right.
always a successor. We don't disperse money, we don't care who the beneficiaries are. The trustee now is in charge of the trust. The original settlor or the trustee died. So the second person has the responsibility to do all the disbursement. So title company will not wire to 5 different trustees, I'm not gonna deliver that Mustang to the daughter.
What about
The trustee's job. Escrow doesn't do it either. No escrow will take that
Trust,
liability. It's too much liability. So that's why we say, open a bank account under the trust name. Then the trustee, the money goes into that bank account at the close as escrow. Then the successor of the trustee distribute everything. Okay, Jeffrey, you don't want that liability. I've had agents say, Nancy, could you wire differently to these 4 different accounts? I'm gonna say no, and don't be mad at me, because it's not my job. It's not your job. When I do these things, I'm also protecting you. You're not in charge of the money. The successor of trustee is in charge. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not because I don't like you or I don't like the beneficiary. I have one that lives in Australia. I'm not gonna wire to Australia. What if it gets
You
bank
can set
fraud?
up the bank account. Can the beneficiary set up the bank account?
No,
No,
After they pass away?
no, it doesn't belong to the beneficiary.
No,
This-
no. What
No.
if the person who owns the trust?
The
dies?
trust, no, the
Because
trust,
of
the
course,
successor of the trustee sets up the account under the trust, not under the successor of trustee, under the trust, but she has the right to sign the bank account. It's like you have a company, then who has the right to take care of the account? It's an entity, it doesn't belong to any individual now. So if I'm the, okay, let's say, go back to Melanie, if I die.
Um.
Melanie has to go to the bank, she's a successor trustee, shows the bank, I want account open under Nancy Chan.
Yeah.
Family trust dated November 10, 1985. And then shows them that she's the successor trustee, then they open an account under the trust and with her as signer.
Oh, yeah, you can buy under the trust name, yeah, right?
Okay. Then the title company closes the escrow. They give us the wire instruction, we escrow wires it into that trust. Or we wire to the trust, we need instructions, that's up to escrow now.
But the trustee can instruct escrow to do the distribution.
No,
No.
it doesn't belong to the trustee anymore, it belongs to the trust. You gotta understand separate thing. I don't know who signs checks of this company. It has to be that one person is a trustee, is a set of trustee, right? So we wire the whole money into the trust account at the bank. Then the successor trustees start distributing. This way, nobody's gonna sue. you or anything.
How does the bank know how much each for it?
The bank don't do it. The bank doesn't do it. My daughter will do it. My daughter would say, there's two beneficiaries, her and her brother. Right? Then she'll do it herself. So I don't want you to be involved. I absolutely right, Peter?
Yeah.
Agents don't get involved in who gets the money. It doesn't belong to you or the trustee. It belongs to the trust. Is whoever has a right to distribute the money according to the trust, the content of the trust.
It's just like we'll make a sale, commission comes through, the commission goes to the company, the trust. Okay, and Peter is the one that has the right to sign your check. He signed a check and it's first to you, then me. And the money goes to this company. Nobody can touch it except Peter.
Unless the money was in a CD with the bank, the bank
No.
will.
No, the trust, no.
No?
The trust the money, title company and escrow looks at the ownership of this property. The ownership is the trust. When they sell the property, we don't care about the other stuff. We
Oh,
only care
yeah.
about this property.
Only the property.
Yeah, and the money goes into the bank account that the trust owns.
Only one bank.
Right. We don't, if you open 10 of them, I don't care, I just open one, okay?
Doesn't matter.
Then the person authorized under the trust signs distributed. Why? We're not the trustee, we can't distribute money, we don't have the right to do it. So if you want us to wire to, like Australia,
Yeah.
ain't gonna do it. So the agent's gonna get like, Nancy, they're upset, I said, don't you do it, because you're gonna be sued,
Yeah.
Big time.
okay? What if they don't agree with the amount?
That's not your money.
One person got agreed with
Yeah.
the
To get more.
Mustang thing went to court, did you know that?
In the middle of the storm. You don't want to be the.
The son went to court,
You want to be the.
But you don't lose it because the church.
He lost it, but he-
Whatever says on the track.
but then I don't want you to involve. They can go to court all they want, but it's not our problem.
Yeah.
You're here to what? Help them sell the house?
Get my
Get the
commission.
price they can, get your commission. Thank you. Right? I want to know who is bad. I have people that tell me, oh, that son is bad, that daughter is bad.
They're all bad.
Don't care.
They're all
Just
bad.
give me
A
the
question you mentioned for, so if a trust is legally set up, when will there be a chance a court is required?
To record what?
No, a court. When will there be a chance that even if it's trust is legally done, and then a court will be required?
No. The trust doesn't need a court.
But because you mentioned before.
No, but if the beneficiary challenges,
Yeah.
That's when the court requires.
then the court gets it. So
Otherwise,
I think not very often, that's why I like the trust, not very often.
Yeah.
Because
Wait.
a good attorney will tell the son, you don't have a case, go away,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
But a bad attorney will say, well, why don't I get $5,000 from him first, and then we'll see. I don't have but I have the $5,000 in my pocket now, right?
They'll
So-
do that.
They'll do that, I know they'll do that, and I've seen it.
This listing say that probate sale.
It's
and
different,
court
let's not talk about probate,
requires-
I'm talking about trust right now. Trust is a way to avoid probate.
Correct.
Okay, so I want everybody to know, if you even own one property, it should be in the trust. I have one that didn't have a trust. The old lady died. She only had one son. The uncle sued.
Huh?
Because she has no trust. And he said, I helped her get her green card here.
Oh.
I supported her. And I helped, it's crazy. People get
Greedy.
crazy, get greedy. So put it in a trust. There was only one house. He's not doing well. So he wants to sue and get some money. So you know what the son did? I'll give you $10,000, go away. I told him, I said, either you settle with him, get the case resolved, or you can't sell. You you go to probate and it's gonna drag on, because he can go to probate court and buy it.
I know someone just do a transfer deed, that 18 old.
Oh, transfer upon death deed.
Yeah.
This deed has been in the law for many, many years. Title company doesn't like it. You transfer, Nancy Chan, just use me. I put a deed. Transfer upon death deed only to my son. You think my daughter's gonna be happy?
No.
I'm gonna cause problem between the two of them. But if I put both of them on there, title company is still gonna say, you still gotta go to probate, do a really simple probate. Because those deeds are, it can't be challenged, that's what I'm saying.
Let's say they're fine with that, using the.
Case by case, I'll look at it. I'll look at if you wanna sell it,
But
I have to look at it.
Does it need to go through the probate or not?
I don't know, case by case, okay? Because I don't know the situation, I don't have the property in front of me, so it's like, I can't tell you definitely. But all the title company discourage people from doing that, okay? There's some things called life estate, that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm old, I wanna give this property to my son, but I put in a grant deed that I get to live there until I die, those are okay. Because if I die, it goes to him, it's already under his name. So they have to prove that I'm dead, that's all. Okay, so that's a life estate deed, that's different. But, okay, anything else on trust? Number one, the name of the trustee has to be on the deed itself or the grant deed now, not like before, you can just put the trust, doesn't work anymore. Okay, we want to know who the trustee is. Number two, keep copies. Unsigned copies is not good. Your check, Kathy, I'm gonna give you $1 million, I didn't sign it, it's not good. Okay, signature. He dispersed the commission check, Peter didn't sign it, you think you can deposit it and collect the money? No. Signature is very important, okay? And I have some agents that are really good, they always verify me when they take the listing. Some of the trust name is really long, husband and wife and and long name. You can't write it into the contract, but you can write it in the addendum. You can say Nancy Chan and so trustees, then you don't have to write the trust name, because it's really long. You write it on the addendum, then you'll go. Okay?
So I believe the e-signature will not be allowed, right? It has to
Not
be
in a
wet
trust,
signature,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
I like e-signature for only certain things. That's why I see it in our Department of Real Estate, say certain things you have to have a wet signature. Okay? It is just the way it is. So on trust, get the trust. If you have somebody that's in the trust, ask them, where's the trust? If they can't find it, you have to encourage them to look for it. Okay, because we will need it. I don't want you to market it, spend all the money, goes into escrow, you can't close.
What about the revocable trust?
It's all revocable unless it's an irrevocable trust.
Revocable, yeah.
Yeah, if it's irrevocable,
Uh-huh.
irrevocable, we can look at it. You can't change anything. You can still sell it. We can look at the trust and then we'll go from there.
I have a client, his sister died. And then it was a revocable trust.
When he dies, it's
Yes,
fine.
it's
So,
in
whoever is the trustee or the beneficiary is the person that will. That means he can't change the content and all the trust anymore. Irrevocable means, I have an old boss. He has 2 younger kids and he got divorced. So what he did is he gave his ex-wife some amount of money then he set up an irrevocable trust for the kids, so she can't touch them. Because if he dies, she's the mother of the kid, she can start using the money, so he set up a separate trust just for the kids. And it says when they can get it, what kind of expenses they can get, and the trustee is an attorney for him that executes his wishes. Because he was only 40 something, and he just wanted the kids to live, he wants them to be protected, so we have two separate trusts. One is his, that he can do whatever he wants, one he cannot.
So you still can sell.
What if the trustee is a minor?
You can't, attorney will not let you do it, beneficiary could be minor.
Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, the beneficiary, but when you pass away, your both kids are still minor. And.
That's why you
who's
have
at the time?
successful, that's why you have successful trust. Okay.
Or another party.
If you didn't die, okay, let's say I set up a trust, I'm still alive. I can do whatever I want, all the beneficiary, I can change them anytime, I can sell it. Well, one of the, things that some foreign seller or buyer asked me, if I put in a trust, can I change anything? Yes. If you are not there, you can change anything, you can take it out of the trust, you can get rid of the beneficiary, you can donate it to charity if you want. But if you die, then it goes to according to the content of the trust. And if the beneficiary is young, that's what I did. I said, when I die, I set up my trust when the kids are little. My brother is successor, and they can't get anything. And the beneficiary, I put something on, I'm kind of crazy with that. I'm crazy about these things. I'm very careful. All my kids have to finish college first and over 35 years old. They don't get nothing unless they get both. If they don't get nothing. Too bad. They can do what I do it on my own, make it on.
You and I are crazy because I did the same thing to my kids.
I think about 35, they're mature. And they have to finish college, they all did. I didn't threaten them, but I put it in there because college education is important. They know, they understand the world a little better. Okay, and then I have one friend that, he has to have a steady job. So that was cute, because the mom has a lot of money. So she says 35, finish college, they have to have a steady job for more than 2 years or something. It was so funny. But that's good. That's why the trust fund babies, we ever hear about trust fund babies, is kind of fun. Go ahead, Jeffrey.
So, let's say there's a mother who bought the property. And then she bought the property and then she added her one daughter on the property. And then after 3 years, the mom died. Is that the probate?
No, if the daughter is joint tenant with the mom,
Correct.
then you don't need probate. You need a death certificate, affidavit, death of a joint tenant, then you can sell.
You don't need it's a.
No. It's under individual. The trust is complicated because it's not individual anymore. It has,
So that's one way to protect the property. From the
well,
probate.
I don't know if it's protecting, Lily knows me. I don't want- no, I-
You can answer my question.
There's no 100% protection. I don't like,
Because you want to protect the property from the probate, from the,
do the trust. Don't give it to your kids.
Trust is better. Trust is much
Don't
better.
put your kids on title. What if they got married, divorced, and get in a car accident, your property's not. I just, 5 years ago, somebody called me. I don't know who it is, my agent called me. They have a friend, they put the son, 24-year-old on title, that's joint tenant. The son had a major accident. They don't have a lot of insurance. He killed somebody. Not anybody's fault, but you don't think that property is in jeopardy now?
Yeah.
I have a question for Peter. Peter, irrevocable trust cannot be restated,
No.
so only a revocable.
That is done, you cannot revoke.
So if you need to change it, you have to make a whole new one.
Can you do another trust then?
Yeah,
The trust, but you cannot revoke the trust.
This trust is irrevocable. You cannot do anything with it.
but you can make a new trust to replace that one.
Can you?
You can do another trust, yeah.
Right.
Separate from this
But-
trust.
Separate from that one.
Separate from that
You
trust.
can, whatever that is in the revocable trust, it's done. You cannot get it out or
Can't change
So-
it.
change it.
So when you make a new trust,
It will be completely different from the.
Right.
one.
but then you use that trust? I mean, how do you do?
You're gonna have.
No, misconception, irrevocable, you cannot change it. If
Right.
you wanna make a new trust, everything under this you can't touch.
Yeah. That's right.
Oh, it's. gonna
It's
be
for your
after-
other asset.
I said,
Ah,
I can change that, just to remove us.
So you cannot
Only one asset.
Yeah, that's-
No, irrevocable, you are right, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
So that's why I tell people, don't do the irrevocable unless you're absolutely sure.
Yeah.
My boss did it because he transferred part of his asset in the irrevocable, so nobody can touch it, even him.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then,
Of course. And so that's why you don't.
Nothing, it goes to the kids, he can't change it. That's why the word irrevocable,
Yeah.
be careful.
but you cannot
But I
use the
thought-
same asset.
I thought
for
we are
two
lying.
trusts.
No,
It has to be
the
the
trust
trust.
revocable, you can do changes.
I know,
like that.
but,
So you could never change it.
You can never change.
Nope,
And you cannot use the.
So in other words,
assets
So what if someone changed their mind?
What, they cannot change their mind.
so trust, you have a removal trust, meeting up with church or something like that.
So,
And I want to, that's it, you can't change your mind anymore.
no, that's why don't do irrevocable.
Gotcha.
I tell people,
Then
I'm sad, I said, no, things change, don't
Yeah,
do
yeah.
irrevocable.
I have one question for you, boss. So what's the main importance if irrevocable? What's the main use if irrevocable?
Irrevocable trust.
Yeah, well, how do you, what do you?
You can, to check it for your kids, right? In case, say if you want, if you want to get married, you're divorced now, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're gonna get married, you don't want your new wife to get hold of any of your assets, you put it, irrevocable trust to your kids. That's it, and so done.
Oh.
That's the main.
That's what
the
I'm
main-
saying. Another thing, okay, Jeffrey, all the trust fund babies, the Kennedy, the Roosevelt, the Getty, those are all irrevocable. The kids are only gonna go in and it's run, and it's managed by a law firm. The law firm doesn't die. They have people that take care of it. They get paid.
Go for it.
So
Right.
when John F. Kennedy Jr. started the magazine George,
Yeah.
in the trust itself, they, all the heirs have certain right to get certain amount of money to start their own business as long as it's a legitimate business and the attorney will give them the money to do it. Okay?
Should be a lawyer.
I will go partners with you.
Should be a lawyer.
No, because I'm very curious about things that if I don't understand it, I need to understand it. So that's why they're called trust fund babies. And their allowances are regulated by the federal inflation. And if they need, you've seen in the movie, if they need extra money, they go to the attorney and beg for it, okay? So, but the attorney can't really do anything. They have to look at the trust, how it's set up and then distribute it. Okay, so they don't want the kids to starve, so they get enough money that they won't starve. But they are not gonna squander away their money. So irrevocable, don't do it. Right, because my boss did it, but he's fine, because he put part of his asset just for the kids. But the kids can't touch it, they can only use
But,
it for a
but
certain,
he can sell it, so,
no,
no, you can't sell that
he
out.
didn't put the property into the irrevocable trust.
No
put
property
money.
is irrevocable,
Be careful, he didn't put property in
oh,
there.
only
He
cash.
put cash and
Oh, got
bonds
it.
in his 401k, his life insurance in there. He didn't-
Okay,
But
got
his
it.
property, he didn't, because he's entitled, so he knows, he has some.
Right, so don't put the property in there, just the monies.
Only the
Okay.
funding, only the funding.
Don't do it. Irrevocable trust, you gotta really get a good attorney to do it. Don't do it lightly.
yeah,
Okay?
so if you fall in love, that is, don't things change. Don't things change.
That's why those wealthy families. That's
I'm
what
just saying.
Yeah, you're right. That's what a wealthy family can still keep their wealth.
Right.
Yeah,
富过三代，他们富四代都 OK。
yeah, like the
You get the
Rockefeller.
best, you get the best lawyer. You get the best lawyer.
Yeah.
Stay in the line.
You get the best lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay, so irrevocable means irrevocable and not be changed. Okay,
And that's even they keep a generation.
I
You
think
know, the kids don't get it, but it's okay.
okay.
let's say a joint tenant, right? Can one of the owner, do a separate trust? Or they have to be in the same trust, that they are joint tenants? Let's say two brothers.
You cannot put a joint tenant property in the trust.
No, she's saying after they bought it, can this brother put his 50% into a trust?
It's not a joint tenancy, Because common.
It breaks the
everything
joint
common, yes,
tenancy.
you can.
Yeah. it
Joint
breaks it.
tenant, you cannot.
Oh,
It
they
breaks
have
the
to
joint
be-
Because you don't have the definite title or ownership, you know, before each,
Okay, from the
Well, yeah,
title,
before when one of them die, you know, it's just because you don't even know whether you have the title, I mean, the ownership. Right, until one of them die. Joint tenancy, right?
John says one person died, yeah, everything goes
Yeah.
together, well, that's just the one, same
So how
time,
can you
in
put
a
it
trust,
in your trust?
it
okay,
doesn't matter.
the better way to do it. Like, okay. If it's joint tenant, one person granted out, it breaks the joint tenancy.
Yeah.
But the best thing to do is that they break the tenancy, the joint tenancy together.
To tenant
To
incumbent,
tenant incumbent before he grants it to a trust.
okay.
Yeah.
That's the
Then,
better
then
way.
the trust
Then you
can
can,
be set up.
you have to change it to the tenancy in common first,
You can change the.
before you can put it in your own trust.
Or otherwise, two of them have to create one trust, right?
No.
We don't need a trust for a joint.
No, you can create a trust after you become tenants in common, you can do your own trust, you can
But
do
not
the
joint.
trust together, but it's not a good idea.
And also.
You have
doesn't matter.
spouses, you have kids or separate, why do you wanna create a brother and
No.
brother
Yeah.
trust?
I see.
They can create two separate.
You just put your part, 50%, your part, 50% into the trust,
Yeah, that's what I.
but you
Yeah.
separate them first.
But not with joint
Separate
tenants.
It
Not
has
joint
to be
tenant.
joint, it has to be
Tenants in common.
So if you want to convert the joint tenant into a trust, first
No, you
do it
can't.
in the common.
Put it into a tenancy in common
Common.
first, it's better, that it won't create any,
That is a
Legal
lawyer.
problem.
That is a lawyer too.
you don't create, no, you can do it, both of you sign. Ruben and Peter, they're joint tenants. Ruben and Peter granted to themselves as tenants in common.
Right
Then
then.
you get not lawyer.
Then you get a trust lawyer to do the trust itself. It's a better way.
But let's say joint tenant, let's say assuming there are few joint tenants, can they create a trust? Can they have a trust?
You can, but it's not that clear.
It's
Because
not-
you're not
it's no use
supposed
because-
to.
It won't be valid.
Joint tenant, it's like husband, wife.
So
you do
meaning,
that.
so meaning a trust is not required of a joint tenant?
No,
Not saying.
what's never
doesn't make
required for
sense to
any,
Make a trust.
it's just recommended. It's not required.
You gotta do it the right way, is
Yeah.
to change the joint tenant into tenants in common.
Yeah,
before
that's
you do it.
Yeah, otherwise, a trust
Well,
is
if
not
you be
required.
challenged, that's fine.
It's not a must.
But there are many really good use for a trust. Really very
Oh, this is very-
very powerful.
Okay, it's, the trust really follows your intent. You have everything in there. Let's say you wanna donate your, your artifacts or your thing antique to the museum. You can do it there. You don't want it to go to, your kids might throw it away and they don't know, but just make sure that you, and the bank account, everything is distributed according to how you want it.
It pretty much dictates what your wishes are when you pass.
And
So
they
that
have
way
to
there's
do
no
probate.
confusion.
Yeah, avoids probate.
Yeah, it's clear what goes where and stuff.
You know
So
what, the thing right now, if it's not in a trust, I have a few probate attorneys that I work with. Just to get an appointment for probate is 3 months.
for an attorney?
For what?
Oh,
To give you a hearing date.
That's in demand.
Because it's not even in demand, you know how our system works, our government works, what are you gonna do? I don't wanna say anything.
Now, if you, in the first version, they forgot to put the property into the trust, you can do it with a ticket.
Has that petition.
Yeah,
But has that petition has to be approved, and it's only a certain amount, all the properties now here is way too high. Has that is like limited amount.
well, then you have to prove intent,
Yeah.
like, if you can prove the intent, it is okay.
For example, you have a trust you can't find. And you have some piece of paper, then you go to the court, they'll say your intent is to read in the trust, so it's up to the attorney to prove that.
What about handwritten trust? Cause my sister is, oh my God.
you can handwrite it.
Business.
You can handwrite it.
Yeah.
There's no
He's
problem.
like, clip here and clip there, and I'm like, oh my God, okay.
Yeah, as long as it's signed,
Okay.
you can execute,
All right.
you can,
All right.
you can do one right now and
Yeah, that's
and
what she
it'd
does.
be valid and stuff, you know?
So funny.
Yeah, people sometimes don't want other people to know.
That's what she said. I'm not doing it.
Oh, my attorney know what I have. They have secretaries, they have assistants, they don't know what I have.
Last question. You have five properties. Can you put 3 properties in one trust and then 2 properties in another
Yes.
trust?
If you want,
Or you could have 5 trusts,
if you want.
Thank you.
or you could
Well,
have
why do you wanna
one,
spend the money?
or you could have one that dictates what each property is gonna have, what's gonna happen with each
Each one
property.
with the one property.
You can have, it depends, you know, you have 1, 5, 3, 2.
Or you can say, I have 5 properties, I have 5 kids. Okay, I only have 1 trustee, successive trustee, but you saying that this property goes to that property goes to that, this property can be sold. You can stipulate all of that. Attorneys will write up, it's your contract, your will, whatever you want.
I have a question. When Michelle was talking about trust being divided out, handwriting, what's the difference between that trust and, for example, will?
Because it has the name of a trust, you have to have a trust. You can set up your trust.
Trust and the will is
Different.
different,
The
right?
will, you don't have a trust.
Yeah.
It's a-
I know, but some font is correlated, I mean, it's very similar,
It's
right?
not the same. It's not the same.
But real estate you have to use trust, but personal property,
You will still have to go to probate to let the probate court.
gotcha, all right,
This week.
all right, I just wanna make sure. I didn't confuse. Sweet, okay.
Question, you know how you were saying let's say the property was in jeopardy when the young man had a car wreck or whatever you were talking about? Let's say that was a rental property where he was on it too. Can you put that property in an LLC to protect that asset and things like
Well,
that?
then you listen to them.
No, but I mean,
Yeah, you could.
if you have rental properties, should they be listed in an LLC?
Yeah, LLC means this property is owned by this entity. So if somebody sued, they can only sue this entity.
And
And this property is in jeopardy, not the.
not everything else? Okay, so that's why people LLC.
Well, that's why you have entities.
Yeah,
They're separate.
It ends, it cuts
Yeah.
off right there.
Yeah.
So it just stops at that property, okay.
Okay.
Uh,
So if you don't have a trust, then you do go to probate. That's pretty simple. You have a question? I'm sorry.
No, I'm gonna stop recording, but we can continue,
we can
the
continue the
conversation,
question.
okay?
And I think that you guys have, Peter, you guys have, Michelle, you guys